Good morning and welcome to our Sunday morning virtual service. My name is Reverend James Parker and it's just such a pleasure to be here with you. We have been experiencing great sunshine and great weather. I hope you're still staying safe and being careful, that you're social distancing and washing your hands, wearing your mask. Let us be an example of how to stay well, how to practice good health. Well, we've got a lot to cover today, so I want to get into it. Let's get into our meditation and allow ourselves to become centered and grounded in spirit. Just allow yourself to relax. Come into a space of knowing, a space of faith that God is working in your life. Allow the Spirit now to move through you, to move in and through you. Turn away from all that is around you. Turn away from any thoughts of tomorrow, any thoughts of yesterday. Release them, send them out with love. Allow yourself to come into a peace, into a mindset of oneness, into good, into positive energy. And as we flow into these positive effects, we allow Spirit now to do His perfect work in us. For we know that this perfect work, this good, these are our blessings. These are our gifts. And as we receive blessings, let us send forth blessings out into our world. Blessing those who are visiting us for the first time. Thank you for being here with us. Blessing our friends, our family, the people we love. Blessing our community. Seeing light and love moving out into our community, into our nation, into our world. Sending blessings there to Mildred in Denver, Colorado, who went through a 43-year marriage with her husband, William. What a gift. Thank you for being here with us. Sending blessings to Carol, to Roger, to George. Sending blessings to Paul. Blessings going out to Craig. Blessings to you, Nancy. Sending love and blessings to our dear beloved Lois, who is going through a challenge right now. We see you lifted up in peace in God's love. Sending blessings to Craig, to Joe, to Mary Kay. Sending blessings to B and Dwayne there in Florida. Seeing you safe, seeing you protected in God's embrace. Sending blessings to Linda in Jamaica. Blessings going out to Stephanie. Sending blessings to Amber in the UK. Blessings going out to Bill and Tamla in Australia. Thank you for being here with us. Sending blessings and peace. Blessings into our pet ministry. Blessings into our youth ministry. Blessing Julie and our YOU and high school graduate. Great job. Congratulations. Blessings going to Sarah and Zoe and Jake. Blessings going to Kelly and to Angela. Blessings to our gala team, to our spiritual renewal committee, to our prayer chaplains. Just sending out blessings into our world. And now let us hold this space of blessings of love as we go into the silence and allow the Spirit of God to move in and through us. Heavenly Mother, Father, everything God, thank you for coming forth in your peace, your power, your presence. Thank you for bringing forth your light. Thank you for loving us, giving us the essence of love so that we may love others. We see your good working in and through us. We see your blessings raining down on our community, raining in and through all like-minded people, raining through all goodness, all positiveness, all blessings and gifts. We have to continue to lead us, guide us, and direct us. Order our steps. Allow us to be more like you. More of you, God, less of me. More of you, God, less of me. More of you, God, less of me. And we see your good working in and through our lives in the name and the very nature of Jesus the Christ. And so it is. Amen. Well, thank you again for being with me here this Sunday morning. It is such a pleasure to have you and to have this opportunity to speak with you. We are doing some great work now, great spiritual work, very fundamentally sound, very basic, but at the same time, it allows us to be lifted up. Jesus said, if I be lifted up, I draw all men unto me. So allow yourself now to take this practices, this work, and allow yourself to be uplifted into the spirit of peace, light, love, and prosperity. We are doing the work now of the 4 agreements. And this is some great work we're doing. It's a lot to cover, but if you just allow yourself to go through it step by step, and I'm going to help explain that to you, just step by step going through it, you will have the benefits of prosperity, of health, of light, and love. Well, now we're on part 3. Don't make assumptions. Many of us find ourselves doing this very thing and not even knowing it. You see, this agreement is one of those that is the hardest agreement to keep. It describes issues with making assumptions, how it leads to suffering, and how and why individuals shouldn't allow themselves to get involved in making them. Lauren Fabrizio, a great author, she said, information is transmitted and received in disconnected and incomplete pieces. So our minds do our best to make the story complete. The issue here is when we make assumptions, we're taking bits and pieces of information and trying to turn them into a whole story. Are you aware that almost everything you tell yourself is an assumption? It's amazing how humans have this very powerful imagination, very powerful. We can imagine all sorts of stories and ideas. We listen to the images talking in our heads. We start imagining what other people are doing, what they're thinking. We imagine what they're saying about us. We can dream things up in our imagination. We invent a whole story based on what we believe to be the truth, and we actually believe it. One assumption leads to another assumption. We begin jumping to conclusions. We start taking our story very personally, and then we blame other people. And we can start gossiping just to justify our assumptions. Of course, by gossiping, a distorted message becomes even more distorted. You know, Jonathan Swift, he said, it is useless to attempt to reason a person out of a thing they were never reasoned into. It is useless to attempt to reason a person out of a thing they were never reasoned into. You know, almost all of our conflicts are based on assumptions and the misguided beliefs in our heads. And it's easy to understand why. Assumptions are nothing more than telling ourselves lies. Creating big dramas for nothing because we really don't know what is true or not. Making assumptions is all about thinking too much. Just thinking what if. Just putting the words what if at the beginning of a thought can cause huge drama, fear, misunderstanding, lack of credibility and grief in our lives. You know, Amit Ray, she said, spirituality is not about adopting more assumptions, but rather it's about uncovering the best in you. Think about it. We have this thing in our country, in our world, where we begin to dig into things. We want to see something more than what's really there. It's also a part of our society with text and social media being primary sources of information and communication, that making assumptions is becoming all the more present. Through these different forms of media, we actually attempt to measure a person's context, tone, emotion, symbolism, their posture and attitude, just based on what we read on a screen or what we see or think we believe we see in our consciousness, in between the lines. We're looking for hidden messages and conspiracies and secret code. But honestly, such attempts are limiting thoughts. How can we expect pleasantries in our life if we're sitting in a mindset of negative thinking? It's dysfunctional and the worst kind of thinking there is. Making assumptions also destroys our relationships. I mean, imagine trying to maintain a peaceful and loving relationship with someone who makes assumptions. In our society, we assume our partner knows what we want, and we get upset when they don't give it to us. We assume our partner knows what we think, and we get upset when they can't read our minds. We assume our partner's actions and inactions are somehow detrimental to us. We assume other people see the world the same way we do, and we don't understand why they interpret events differently. We even enter into relationships assuming we can change the other person. We even enter into relationships assuming we can change the other person. So often we believe so strongly in our assumptions to the point that we will destroy our relationship in order to defend our position. We make assumptions and actually believe we know what someone is thinking or feeling. We forget that our beliefs are only our point of view and has nothing to do with what anyone else is thinking or feeling. In the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 17, it says, "Therefore, dear friend, since you have been forewarned, be on guard not to get carried away by error and find yourself losing your secure position." You see, the whole thing here is when you make assumptions, what I call error thinking, you are basically putting your life, your work, and your relationships in jeopardy. We don't want to do that. Almost every conflict, almost everything that we allow ourselves to get into is based on these making assumptions. We have to allow ourselves to remove ourselves from making all of these kinds of mistakes, of these missteps. Don't make assumptions. Allow yourself to come from a place of peace, a place of understanding. Know that even though sometimes you have those moments where you assume everybody is judging you or criticizing you or abusing you or victimizing you or blaming yourself because those are the things you do to yourself, know that that is not the truth of who you are. There's no basis of fact in that. In fact, if we don't make assumptions, we can begin to focus our attention on what the truth is rather than what we want the truth to be. Then we can begin to see life the way it is, not the way we want to see it. When we don't allow ourselves to make assumptions or believe in our assumptions, we create a whole new life, a new personality, new dreams in our personal heaven. Here are a few ways to stop making assumptions. Number one, fact check. That's right, fact check. We are emotional beings, and making assumptions about loved ones or others impacts us on a deep level. Instead of jumping to conclusions, stick to the facts. For instance, if a friend didn't call you back and you begin assuming that he or she is angry because of something else that happened, take a moment to write out the facts. Make sure to write down what actually happened and what you can clearly prove or quantify. This allows you to come forth in a whole new way, and you can begin to see the goodness instead of what's in your head. Number 2, stop making assumptions by slowing down. Making assumptions is about reacting. Reaction is what happens when you use your fears and your emotions to handle a situation. It happens so quickly that you don't even have time to breathe or to relax. But responding is about being clear and present. It's about allowing yourself to think and feel before you say something. Slow down, my friends. Allow yourself to respond rather than reacting and making assumptions. Number 3, clarity. Making assumptions is all about emotion. We assume someone did or said something from an emotional place. A place that is perhaps wounded, sad, or ashamed. Now, I'm not telling you to ignore your feelings. I'm saying that you should take a moment to separate your thoughts from your feelings so that you can be clear about what happened before you say something. Friends, take a moment to get clarity. Number 4, communicate. Remind yourself that by communicating, you are showing up with strength and courage. It's an act of bravery. Communicating instead of assuming leads to transformation. And you have the opportunity to be true to yourself and others and take courageous action as you become an empowered leader in your life. Remind yourself to communicate, to come forth and using your strength. Number 5, remind yourself. See the good in other people. Remind yourself of a pleasant time, a special time that you had together. See the good in yourself. Remember that you are coming forth from a place of love for yourself so that you can have love and compassion for others. You are a spiritual being. Your essence is love. Remind yourself of who you are. Number 6, stop making assumptions by writing it out. Writing is the easiest way to release yourself from tension and fear of the assumptions that are around you. Write down what you're assuming and then remind yourself that it's only your story. Then release it by tearing it up, burning it into ashes, or throwing it away. This way you create a space to be open to what others have to say. Friends, making assumptions is allowing yourself to stay in the same arena with a destroyer, with a hater, with something that just wants to control your emotions and not allow you to come from a positive place. Begin today letting go of all of the assumptions. Let's watch the video.
The third agreement. Don't make assumptions. We are always making assumptions about everything around us. What follows is that we believe that these assumptions are truth. We then think that they are what is, and take actions based on that. When we make assumptions, we are agreeing that they are fact, and are seeking to gain problems. When we have assumptions and face problems, we take it personally, and create even more problems, taking away our state of bliss. The issue is that we are afraid to ask for the truth. However, clarification is hard to ask for, so we go on and make assumptions, and since we don't want to be wrong, we defend our assumptions. Our assumptions do nothing but pave the way to suffering. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we want to see them. Our minds, with their many voices, only add to the chaos and confusion. When you see someone you know, but they're kind of far away, you may assume that they saw you but chose not to say hi. And then you may think a lot of things like, why? Why did she not say hi? You may think, I know she saw me and then kept on going. What's her problem? When you've done that, you've just stepped into a world that's purely within your own head. All this based on a single assumption. Making assumptions when we are with others is asking for even more trouble. When one of the biggest issues in our relationships is that we assume that the people in our lives know what we are thinking. We assume that they will already do what we want without us telling them, because they know what we want before we say it. We think that the people in our lives know more about us than we know about ourselves. These assumptions lead to the different people in each relationship living in totally different realities and totally different worlds, always walking through each world, not understanding why they are having problems reaching the others. It's simply because they're both in different worlds. We always want to reason, understand, justify, and explain, even if we don't truly reason and understand well. We do this because we feel we need to do this to feel safe, to quickly take information and know where you stand with this new information. You want to know how it affects you now and in the future. You want to quickly take action, but you may not know what you are taking action on. A false reality. We are always looking to read a situation and act as if we know, even if we have felt and have experiences that will get us into trouble. Be who you are and don't be false to yourself. Always ask clarifying questions and then start seeking the truth in every situation. Remember, you have the right to ask. Simply ask, clarify, and live in bliss.
Friends, you are more than what you think. You have a power and essence within you. You have God's favor upon you. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in making assumptions and taking things personally. Don Miguel Ruiz, he said, making assumptions and taking things personally is the beginning of hell in your life. You see, think about it this way. Not taking things personally gives you relief from the interactions that you have with others. Not making assumptions gives you relief from the interactions that you have with yourself. Simply take action and be clear with others about what you want and don't want. Don't gossip or make assumptions about what others tell you. Get the facts. Respect other points of view and avoid arguing just to be right. Respect yourself and be honest with yourself. Stop expecting others around you to know what's in your head. Come from a place of joy, of love, of bliss, the gifts that God has given you. Allow yourself to go within when you catch yourself making up stories in your head and come forth with the completeness of what you know to be true. You are a child of God. You have no reason to worry or be concerned about what someone else is thinking. Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Allow yourself to come forth today empowered in God's love, and you will reap the benefits of prosperity, of light, of truth, and all the gifts that the universe has to offer. Are you willing to do this with me today? Well, thank you all, and God bless you. Well, now we've come to our time in our service where we open our hearts to give. And I want you to take a very communal approach with this, because we are doing good work here at Unity Chicago. And it's your gifts that allows us to do this work. So please continue to give. Now, there are 3 ways that you can give. You can hit the donate button there on our website, or you can text us at 773-492-8772. Or always send us a check to 2650 Montrose Avenue, Suite 110, Chicago, Illinois, 60618. And now I ask that you take that gift and you send energy from your heart into that gift as we say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, richly flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for the blessings of this day. I am grateful for the blessings on the way. And so it is. Well, friends, if you prayed that prayer with us, you are moving energy and substance. Keep doing the spiritual work. Keep coming forward in your perfect way. Keep your prayers and meditations going. Allow yourself to be fulfilled in God's love. Now let us say a prayer. Heavenly Mother, Father, everything God, thank you for these gifts that we received today. We know that they came from those who love you and who are open and receptive to doing your will. God bless them. Keep them enfolded in perfect health, in perfect love. Allow them to prosper. Fill their pockets. Fill their bank accounts. Remove any ideas of negativity, any burdens, any difficulties, any challenges. Allow your gifts to flow in and through them as they come forth in your perfect way. We see it happening now, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For you are the gift and the giver, the supply and the supplier, and we give thanks. And we know this now in the name and the very nature of the living Spirit. And so it is. Amen. Well, friends, thank you again for coming forth. Next week, we've got a great story to tell about the 4 agreements. Remain with us. Stay in touch. Send us your cards and letters. I have been getting them. I have been loving them. Thank you so much. I believe that we once 2 or more gather together, whether it's by communication or where we are in the same space, there God is in the midst. So let us stay together. Let us stay connected. And now, let us say a prayer for protection together as we pray for our community, our country, our world, so that we may come into healing and perfect health. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Well, Unity and friends, and those who are visiting us for the first time, thank you for coming forward. Thank you for being with us. We love you. We see you blessed, whole, and complete, and we'll see you soon.